Hello everyone. I'm in my basement right now because my dad got home after working until 4 a.m. So I want to be as quiet as possible for this video. I'm gonna be talking about Cyberpunk again, of course, because I cannot stop talking about it. But I read an article, well, more skimmed an article from the Washington Post about the game, and there's some things that I want to talk about. So, um, I would have read the whole article. The problem was I just didn't have time. Um, because I got distracted, and then now it's like uh, 11:32, so I really had to just skim it and make this video. So um, a couple key things that they said was that the gunplay felt really good, and that there's a lot of different ways to play the game. It's not really clear cut, which is good, you know, and that the choices you make in the game really do affect how how you play it later on. So that's really good. I'm glad to hear that. Um, they also said that it's very open and it feels it's very detailed, even more than like Grand Theft Auto 5, which is probably what I was expecting anyway. But I'm glad to hear it, right? From someone who actually played the game, not like, speculation. But a couple things that they said was that the game felt too short. And I have one thing to say, or I have a couple things to say that. First of all, the game's short because um, the game is short because there's just um, so much you can make different, or I don't know how to say it. So many possibilities, basically. Every single decision you make in the game has an effect on the rest of the game. Um, and because of that, there's so many possibilities, so many um, endings and different missions and all of that. And the reason the game is short is because they had to code all of that. Imagine if it was a 60-hour game, right? The main story was 60 hours or something like that, and it had all that different possibilities. This game would really actually come out in 2077. Um, so they had to make it short, and that makes sense. Any game like this would be short. Why do you think Choose Your Own Adventure books are so short, but yet so thick? Because of the same premise. You know, it, things that have more possibilities are going to be shorter. Stories, I mean, and that's just a given. Um, and then I feel there was something else about that. I think it's just that though with the length of the game. But I mean replayability, right? That's another thing. Is replayability is going to be amazing in this game. Grand Theft Auto had good replayability, but not really story wise. This is the game that's going to have that. Also, side missions and mercenary missions and all that kind of stuff. Maybe even being a vigilante. I don't know. That is going to be most of what the game is, other than just the story. And I heard it's like 175 hours long to complete the whole dang thing. Um, and then the story is about 15 hours. For me, it's probably going to be around 30 because, I'm bad at video games. Um, but I feel like for me, I'm probably going to complete it in about 100 hours. But replayability is a big deal in this game because of the different decisions you can make. Even from the very start, you have to pick what kind of life were you living before this game started. Not many games let you choose that. Um, and if there are some games that do, I haven't heard of any. Um, so that's really cool. And then obviously, um, different endings as well. They were also talking about bugs and a lot of bugs. Now, let me just check real quick. I can probably even quote it. Quote, the game is filled with whip. Oh, never mind, that is not the right quote. They were talking about the different characters there. So there's a lot of things that they do, that the Washington Post does say that's that's positive, and there's more positive that they say than negative, which is it's good, but there are a few negative things that I just sometimes don't agree with. They say the gunplay feels just right. Shotguns pack a wallop, pistols feel clean, while submachine guns feel messy with a wild amount of recoil. It makes sense. So there's a lot of positives that they do go over, and a lot of those positives are attention to detail, and a lot of it. Um, and I already knew it's going to have attention to detail, but to this extent that they're describing is crazy. So I'm just trying to find the part where they're talking about bugs and glitches. Uh, so well, just one second. All right, so I found a part that interested me a little bit here. So it says quote, the artificial intelligence here likely factors into the overall jank of the game. Enemies and allies alike have no discernible combat tactics besides point and shoot and die. The boss encounters fare even worse, becoming a mess of mechanics as they flip around and do all kinds of things you wish you could. Just as Witcher 3 didn't set the world on fire with its mechanics, neither will Cyberpunk 2077. Now, the thing is, this can change, and with updates, right? They can update the AI to be smarter, to maybe predict where you're going to go, to actually have tactics like hiding behind cover, all that kind of stuff. So that's not something that can't be fixed, just like any other bug. But I was just gonna say something, I forgot it. Darn ADHD, am I right? But I think that it will still be fine because, um, like, this person who was writing the article played it like a week before the game came out. And not only that, but this game has been really rushed. And towards the end, they were really just really trying to get this game out already. They've delayed it so many times, and um, it makes sense that it's going to have some stuff where it's going to have some things that aren't as good as they could be, like the AI, and just basic glitches and stuff. And I know, what was it? 9 years is a very long time for development, and you would expect it to be a really good game. But they had some other projects they were working on, like The Witcher, so they couldn't dedicate all of those 9 years to do that. Um, but also, yeah, it should be better, but it's nothing they can't fix in updates. And I feel like they will probably update it if they get enough criticism. Um, and obviously, they're not going to watch my crappy videos. But if you do see this, post it on social media. Say, hey, um, we want better AI because the AI that we have is not that great. So let me find the bug part. So, quote, what makes matters worse is the game is boiling over with glitches, particularly towards the game's climax. They just go on about how there's a bunch of glitches. Again, it makes sense that there's a bunch of glitches. This game was rushed, like a lot. They were every employee was working like overtime and weekends and basically taking no time off with, no personal life at that point because they were just working on this game. Um, and and still, there's going to be glitches. There was glitches with every game at launch. Watch Dogs 1 had a game-breaking glitch or bug that wouldn't start the game, and they patched that too. I'm sure GTA had a bunch of bugs that they patched. GTA is still getting updates for things that, could be fixed. Like, there's a whole series by a YouTuber, I can't remember his name, but it's called Rockstar Logic, and he basically goes through Rockstar games and shows like things that just don't make sense, that aren't realistic. A lot of them are like weird street signs or buildings in GTA that just don't line up with real life or what could be real life. So, and that actually works because Rockstar comes in and fixes those. So, Rockstar listens. I don't see why CD Projekt Red couldn't listen. If there's bugs, they will get fixed in updates. And if the AI isn't as good as it could be, that could also get fixed in updates. It's more likely, obviously way more likely, that the bugs will get fixed than the AI. I'm hoping that the AI will be better than how they're describing it, but it's still, as long as the game is mostly bug free by the time most people start playing it, I think it will be fine. And if enough people petition for a better AI system, then I think it might even happen. And the last thing was that they started getting all political in this article, and I can actually find the quote where they did. So, quote, and for years, trans activists have shown a light on why its depiction and seemingly willful ignorance on gender can create damage for a marginalized community, even within the game's context of capitalism objectifying humanity for gain. So, the problem I have with this is that the reason CD Projekt Red wanted to make the gender thing like completely gone, basically, just to get rid of gender in their games, is so that people could, well, first of all, so that people wouldn't complain about there being only two genders and that kind of stuff. Sure, you want to have everybody be happy, and you want to get this game out to as many people, and that's fine. I understand that, but it was also to personalize your character as much as possible. And actually, let me go ahead and look at the quote again so I understand what's going on here. So, but the problem I have with the Washington Post is they attack things that just, they take it out of context. Basically, they took PewDiePie out of context, I'm pretty sure, and they're taking this out of context. The reason CD Projekt Red did this is so that no one would be angry. You personalize your character, that's it. And they're like, oh, look at them, and I don't know. It's just, maybe I misunderstood the quote. Honestly, now that I think about it, I'm probably misunderstanding the quote right now. But yeah, and but okay. To wrap this up, I guess this is a terrible video. But to wrap this up, most of what they said was positive. There were negatives, but most of it can also be fixed. The last thing I mentioned, no, that's probably not going to be fixed, because there's no way to fix that, and it shouldn't be fixed because there's nothing to fix. But bugs, absolutely they'll fix that. AI, there's a chance they might. But yeah, so I think it's going to be a great game. It just needs some time to grow into a better game than it already is. GTA wasn't perfect when it came out. Neither was Minecraft. Nothing is perfect when it first launches. No games are perfect when they launch. There's updates, there's fixes, there's additions, all that kind of stuff. And that will be the same with Cyberpunk. So, sorry for the poor video. I just had to quickly do something before the end of the day, obviously. And I kind of panicked and just thought, oh yeah, I read this article, I'll do a video on it. Also, sorry for the weird camera angle, if I'm being quiet or anything. But thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, which I doubt you did, but if you did, consider subscribing or sharing this with your friends, because sometimes I get no views on videos and it makes me sad. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, so see you guys later.